All right, there we go. Cool. Hopefully everything works out all right today with the internet and whatnot. I have no idea what's going to happen. But good evening and welcome. Hi, my name's Dave. I'm a woodturner. I started turning as therapy for PTSD. I found out that I had a knack for it and I fell in love with it. It is one of the most amazing therapies I've ever gotten to experience. So I spend a lot of time doing this. I really do enjoy it. And I started this channel to become a better demonstrator and a better teacher because I've also found over the last few years that I really enjoy teaching wood turning. So I want to help turners of all skill levels improve their turning. I'm always working on mine. The more that I repeat things, the more that I show people techniques and all that, the more it cements it in my own head. And of course, I practice what I preach. So I'm always working on the lathe and working on my tool handling skills. And if there was a secret sauce, so to speak, for wood turning, in my opinion, it would be practice. Practice is the secret sauce. The more that you do it, the better your tool handling skills get. Of course, ooh, don't squeak too much. I'll lube this up while I'm talking. Hold on one sec. I need to grab my fluid film. Now, this is an interesting product. I don't get paid to say anything about this, but it is lanolin based. It's not petroleum based, and it cuts through. It does cut through rust. It does protect the surface, like on the lathe here, the ways, the cast iron. So it does protect the surface. But the best part is it doesn't make it super slick, like oil-based, petroleum-based products can. And it works really well. So let me spray some on there. Excuse me, didn't mean to burp in your ear. Let's see, I'm gonna grab a used up piece of abrasive, and you know what, we'll just pan this down. So I've already sprayed it on the ways. When I'm using any abrasive to help get any rust or scale off, I'm usually doing it in circles like this in a circular pattern as opposed to going back and forth because I don't want to wear the ways down and put a groove in it. If I'm going to have to wear it down a little bit by sanding this surface, then I want to do it in a circular pattern so I don't keep hitting the same spots over and over and over. In theory, this should minimize any kind of instance with that. Got to make the equipment last as long as you can, right? At least in my pay bracket. All right, there we go. That's a lot better. So it protects the surface. You can kind of hear a little bit of a squeak there, but not much. But my banjo moves a lot better. That is excelente. All right, I want to smooth this. I want to move this. And I'm going to double check just to be sure. Did I grab my phone here and double check? It says I'm live. Let's find out. Okay, I'm live. Very good. Just to double check. So it's Twitch Tuesday, another night of wood turning, man. This is great. I'm going to grab, let's see. You know what? I think I'll go with these guys first since we started these last week. I've got some ornament bodies. I turned a few more. And let's pan this camera back down. It's probably too far. Yep, a little bit. Wait for the lag to catch up. So I will turn on this overhead light here in a little bit too. Right now I've got it off because it's white. It's blowing out the image on the on the camera of my face. Okay, I don't need this guy for right now. Not a good spot. I'll move it over here. Okay, so I'm going to go to this camera. So I've got a few of these. There we go. I've got a few of these ornamental bodies. I turned them green, waiting to see, and they've been drying for a week. They're fairly thin. The wall thickness is pretty even, but every single one of these survived, and they all came off of a 4-inch branch, between 3 and 4-inch branch, and I hollowed through where the pith would be. And so far, these are looking really good. They're not cracking, or they actually haven't even really changed shape, which is unexpected to me anyway. So what I'm going to do is I want to finish these guys up. We're going to sand them, and then I'm going to go right into turning some finials for these guys, and then we're just going to go wild and go nuts. I got a bunch of stuff here to turn, so I'm just going to get to it, I guess. If you have any questions, this is live and interactive, so any questions, please drop them in chat. I do watch and monitor chat as I'm going. I'm going to pan this guy back down so I can get my overhead light on. As you can see, it kind of washes things out a little bit right here. I adjusted my shop, moved things around a little bit. I've got a little bit more room to work in now. It's more open. Plus, I can get all the shavings out much easier, and then all the new wood back in a lot easier. So I think it was a good thing to do. Plus, I needed to make sure my other lathe was set up because I'm going to have physical students here. And I'm really excited about that, man. That's awesome. I'm really stoked about that. I can't wait to get started with that stuff. So I'm just going to use, let's see, how fast am I turning here? 400? Yeah, that's good enough. So I'm just going to use, I believe this is 150. It might be 180. 180. So I'm just going to use 180 on the outside of these guys, and I haven't decided what I'm going to do. Let's bring that camera back up. That's not quite centered, is it? Trying to pay attention to the little inset camera on top of the larger camera, which comes through this camera right here off to the side. I've had to move things around a little bit, so it's be my second or third time turning since I moved the shop around, and that was a 2-day ordeal. Well, not really an ordeal. It was a 2-day job. Anyway, we're all set. Yeah, time to throw on some safety glasses here. Oh yeah, that's running. Hopefully this mic does actually drown that out. I believe it does. I listened to the stuff last week, and it seemed to. So I'm just going to go ahead and just sand these up a little bit. I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to paint them or if I'm going to dye them, or if I'm just going to put finish on them just to highlight the raw wood. But this Some of these pieces of maple look kind of interesting, but some of them look kind of bland and plain. So I'm just not sure yet. It didn't take long. Cool. So nothing else to hollow today, I think. Come on now. I may have to get another check here. I don't know. I'm probably going to take this one apart and see why it's not working the way it should. So these will be pretty much, I mean, these will be done other than whatever I'm going to put on as a finish. I'm going to turn finials for each body separately, because they all have a slightly different size holes, because the pith did actually break out while I was turning a lot of these. Not that that's a big deal. It just means that I can't like turn a bunch of finials all the same size for this particular batch. You can see, I think, on this one, you know what, let's just go right to the overhead, or the one in front here. Yeah, you can see how the light's kind of washing things out here, and I really can't avoid that, unfortunately. But this maple does have some figure to it, and some, well, let me sand this one and you'll see. It looks almost like moss, but it's part of the spalting process. It's kind of green colored in this maple. But once I sand this out, you'll be able to see it better. Fortunately, I left myself some really good surfaces here, so the sanding isn't going to take very long. But this is the sanding process, at least for these pieces on this lathe. So I don't know if anybody's been really paying attention to, I haven't really seen it. Not that I watch mainstream news, but I haven't seen a lot of information. Yeah, let's bring this up now. So let me try this side. Maybe that'll work a little bit better. So you can kind of see, even though it's a little bit washed out, there's some green, almost looks like moss, but it's all fungus that was working on the tree before it got cut up and used for this. So the fungus itself is dead, but it left some nice color in here. And I've got, I think, yeah, there we go. So I'm doing some smaller bowls, and you can see it better here on this branch. So we'll be turning these today. Maybe we'll see how far we get with my finials. Let's see. I need to sand the other side of this guy. So basically, I'm just running through and sanding these bodies. I'll look at. I've got a couple more ornaments that the bodies were already turned from some different timber. I cannot, for the life of me, remember what that timber was, but I think it was honey locust. No, it wasn't honey locust. Gosh, now I can't remember. It would have been, it wasn't honey locust, then those other couple of bodies would be an exotic wood, which for the life of me, I can't remember right now the name of. So we'll just blow through these real quick, get them all sanded up, and then we'll work out the finials. Some of these I'm hoping, actually, let me grab, let's see, I had a short piece. Where'd that guy go? right there. I may have to get bigger stock. Yep, I do for that. So I will get it for all of it. These won't work. That's a bummer. But I do have some alternatives. So as you can see, this was round when I turned it last week. It hasn't moved that much, which to me was kind of surprising, because basically I just took the branch, cut it in half along the pith lengthwise, and then cut oh, not for these guys though. For these guys I just turned it and then put the center on the piths themselves, which is where this hole is. The pith was there. Oh, I need to sand that some more. Getting some coloration from the jaws I was using. Some of the grease from it, I guess. Let's see. Come on. There we are. And this is what I talk about when I'm talking about, you know, I try not to do very much sanding at all. I want my tool control to be good enough that, depending on the piece, I mean, if it's, you know, I leave myself a surface that usually I can start off with about 220 as an abrasive, so that I don't have to sand as much. And I gotta tell you, I'd rather be turning than sanding. Sanding is one of those tasks that needs to be done. It's wood turning. Depending on the project, of course, some pieces, utility pieces, I'll get a really nice finish off the tool, and then I will use beeswax or Mahoney's walnut oil as a finish, and that's it. I don't need anything else beyond that on those, but these are meant to be Christmas or holiday ornaments. I don't know if it's even PC or whatever. I guess I don't give a damn. I'm just going to call them holiday ornaments. I don't really celebrate Christmas myself. If there's kids involved, then yeah, I'll celebrate Christmas, because that's what I think it's about. I mean, there's more to it than that. There's a much longer and richer tradition to this particular holiday, or the holidays around that time that were supplanted, would be the right word, I think, by other religions in this country. Excuse me, most notably Christianity, but there are a lot of traditions around this time of year, and everything was just kind of rolled into one, and then eventually turned into a commercial holiday, like Valentine's Day, in my opinion, is a commercial holiday. Everything's heavily marketed anyway. Instead of the other original reasons for these particular celebrations by other earlier, well, I can't say earlier, although early on those traditions were quickly supplanted in order to get control over the people that were being subjugated. Some of the, and I'm not bashing Christianity, just so you know, I'm not at all. This is all historical stuff that just isn't talked about these days very much. So where Christianity could not stamp out the what is the word I want to use? It's not a. Let's see. That one's been sanded. That one's been sanded. That's sanded. 3 more to go. If there was a way to incorporate a pagan, there's a word, what would have been called pagan tradition into Christianity in order to make it seem as though Christianity was the progenitor of that tradition. Again, control. But there are still people, you know, Wiccans today. There's still holidays and stuff like that in Europe and the UK, like Beltane, Samhain, all that stuff that in this country we call Halloween and spring and whatever. But they were supplanted, and the actual, not that I'm an authority on, I'm certainly not an authority on any kind of pagan ritual or belief or anything. I'm not even an authority on Christian. I've been a Christian. I can't say, at least in my mind, that I am a Christian like the Christians today. I don't consider myself a Christian in any case. The main reason that I don't celebrate Christmas is that I live alone and my kids are grown. So there's no real reason for me to do that. Like I said, if kids were involved, then heck yeah, I'm all about it, because that's the excitement. Oh, that one was already sanded. What am I missing here? I need that one and that one. Sanded, 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 sanded. Okay. We can skip that one. Go to this one. So all of these ornament bodies were turned and hollowed. If you were watching last week, you got to see it live, but they were all turned and hollowed with my 3/8 spindle gouge. No special tools. I could have gotten the large, Jameson's hollowing system that I got, and it's got a small bar that can be fitted into it. That is a after sale usually, unless you buy, as I remember anyway, unless you buy the master's kit. I can't remember how Lyle categorized these packages. There was the basic kit. It was just the hollowing system with a 3/4 inch bar, and there was another one with a larger bar, 1 inch bar, which I use a lot, mostly because of vibrational issues. It really dampens vibration because it's a heavier piece of metal. And then there is one more tier, I think, where you get all 3 boring bars plus again, this is from my memory when I used to work at Lyle's shop a few years back. I did work in his shop for 5 years. Shipped a lot of stuff all over, shipped his tools and hollow systems all over the place on the planet. I was going to say globe, but you know, I hesitate to. And this is tongue-in-cheek, sarcastic, if you will. I hesitate to offend the flat earthers. That's a joke. I think the Flat Earth Society is a little misguided. You know, it sounds like sometimes they have good arguments, but I mean, when you measure the arguments against what reality actually presents, there's a difference there. Yeah, this is my favorite way to sand. Not much of doing any of it. My favorite way. And unfortunately, again, because I left a really good surface off my tools, even when it was done being turned and green and waiting to dry, it still didn't fuzz up or do any weird things. Not that I expected it to, but you never can tell. You never really know for sure if a piece is going to survive being twice turned or turned green and and then allowed to dry. It still may crack and you still may lose it. Fortunately, these guys did not lose, which is nice because this was an experiment to see if I could do something like this and have, you know, a bunch of blanks that were turned green and are drying and that I can pull off the shelf anytime and turn like you know, like an ornament. I can have these sitting on my shelves, pull one off really quick if I need to make one or two or whatever, and you know, sand it up and get the fingernails turned. That's a bonus to me. Less time behind the sandpaper or whatever abrasive I happen to be using at the time. Okay, I think I'm gonna grab, let's see, can I grab, oh wait, I moved them over here, didn't I? Yes, I did. Let's move this a little bit. But where did they get moved to? No, I can use this. Oh, here's one of them. All right, so I can use this to make some fingernails. Oh yeah, I forgot I've got some maple I could use. We'll hold on to that. I'm gonna turn. I really should cut that in half. I'm going for the maple since it's already a square. I'll go for the maple. I don't have to try to get a chainsaw or whatever and split that thing lengthwise. So we'll just cut some pieces off of here. And I have moved. Yeah, I think I'm going to like this setup. It's I've got things moved out of the way. It's easier to move around in my studio, which is always a plus. Oh, I forgot about that guy. So I'm going to need to sand this one. And then I have these, and I cannot remember what the timber was, but it looks like I'm probably going to have to resand because they sat so long in dust and everything that the finish that I put on kind of, which was beeswax, that's all it was. The dust is kind of, well, not there, but in some of these, the dust is kind of bonded to it. They've been sitting so long out in the open. Oh, that's why I did make, this is the one I turned the other day. So I've got a couple of these guys. So we'll turn fingernails for all of them. Yay, it's fingernail time. right after, and I'm going to leave all of these guys on the lathe if I can get away with it. I think I can. Need to sand this guy really quick. That's the wrong chuck. And this was just a slightly barrel-shaped ornament body I decided to do, just to do it a little bit different. But in setting these all up for the holiday markets here with Crooked Tree and Charlevoix Circle of Arts, they had invited me to put my stuff in their stores, and I'm going to take them up on it. Let's see, this is 180. There we go. Well, it looks like that part was already sanded. So it must just be these guys, the ends. So anyway, just call them holiday ornaments, whatever holiday you want to use them for. I imagine most people will use them for Christmas, but some people actually do use these as table centerpieces, which is kind of cool. I've sold a couple of larger urchin ornaments to people who wanted it just for a table centerpiece. And I thought that was pretty cool, so it's always going to be out and looked at and admired and enjoyed, rather than put in a box in storage until the end of the year. I would much rather have my pieces enjoyed. And looked at and all that stuff. I have no control of that, of course. Whoever purchases it can do whatever they want with it. But my hope is that the pieces that I make are enjoyed, they're out, people can look at them, the owners of them can enjoy them looking at them throughout the day and all that. It's just, you know, having a piece of art in your space is really, really nice. Really, really nice. Kind of brightens up things, having a little bit of art around. Okay, that one's sanded. Gotta love it, man. That goes quick. Oop, let's cover up the... Come on. I gotta cover up my keyboard. Things have been able to move my laptop a little bit too, so it looks like most of the shavings and dust will stay off it now. Now, if I just avoid tripping over myself. Let's see, that's a pretty large hole. That'll work. It should work with all of them. I might have one that's got, or maybe I didn't. Maybe I took all those out. I had some that had the, oh, you know what? I'll grab one just for fun. I'll be right back. I had some ornament bodies that the pith broke out more than I expected it to. So I saved those anyway because they were turned. It was just the ends, the hole in the ends were too big to even make a finial, make it look nice. So what I did was I took several of them. I've got several snowmen going. I turned a hat and joined all these together, turned a carrot, got some little branchlets there, so I'm going to paint and do some things. It's not all put together yet. Whoa, easy there, cowboy. And if I can avoid destroying them, that would be a good thing. But as you can see, like this one, the hole was really, really big because that pith just broke out so much. So instead, I will make a little base for these to sit on that will fit have a little tenon on it, it'll fit right there so that they can sit right down. But that's what I'm doing with the ones that break out a little bit more than I expect. You know, I don't want to throw it away, man. I turned it. If it was unsalvageable, that's one thing, and it could become firewood or compost or whatever. But in my wood hoarder dictionary, it says you must keep all your wood. Must not waste it. And I've had, you know, several turners tell me, yeah, but the stuff grows on trees. Well, it does. And practicing is one thing. And you're going to use up wood stocks that you have when you're practicing. But in this case, I was working with techniques that I am pretty comfortable with. Just so happens that the pith didn't make it. So, since they were turned and ready to sand, I went ahead and finished them. I'm going to swap back to the overhead. At least I thought I was. There we go. And I need to lose this guy because I want my pin jaws in here. Now, there's a couple ways I could do this. I think that I'm probably just going to cut them to size and then turn them for each specific ornament body, as opposed to laying out a big long piece and trying to turn a bunch of finials, especially thin ones, and then you know, cut them apart and try to finish them and all that stuff. So we're just going to go this route. Where did I move you to? There you are. So that means cutting a few of these. And I need to grab my saw. Let's see, can I use any of this? So I've got where this timber was cut on the tree. This is the outside of the tree, so that's not usable for at least the base of the finial, but up here it would be. So we'll go for this. And then I will cut. Can I use any more of that? No. So I guess I'll just cut this off. And I don't know that I can use that. Not really. I can use some of it for a handle, so I'll just hold on to it and take a look at it again in a few days. All right, so I don't need to have super long finials on these. These are slightly scaled down versions of my regular size ornaments. So let's see, how many can we get out of here? Because I just need to get like this much for the top of the ornament. I don't need a whole lot. Just enough to make a cap and then something to put the eye screw into to hold on, the little hanger on. So I'll cut a few of these. Again, that's going to be too long. Not for this guy, though. So I can use him for that. So for these guys, I think something more like that will do. You know, I may do a lot more of this tomorrow so that I have time to actually cut these things up. But this is the, oh my, there's a little bit of a crack there. Wait, let's take a closer look. Oh no, that's a bark inclusion. Okay, so that's for those two guys. So I need 2 caps. So we will cut about, it's going to be too much, not that much. So I hope that people are aware of what's happening in North Carolina, Georgia, Tennessee, Virginia, that whole area up there where Hurricane Helene took an interesting journey and flooded the shit out of North Carolina, Tennessee. And we're talking, these are mountainous states. Hurricanes don't get there. They don't make it that far. This one did. Interestingly enough. And I don't know if anybody is aware of, out there, it's aware of geoengineering and what's actually happening with the planet, and the fact that the government admitted that they could control and steer the weather quite a few years ago, actually. I just found that information out myself. You know, let's turn, I think I'll turn 4 of these tonight. So it wouldn't surprise me that, well, North Carolina has amazing lithium deposits, and lithium is what they're putting in batteries for the electric cars that our infrastructure cannot support electric cars. We don't have the infrastructure for it, and they're just forcing these cars on people. And one of the interesting things I just learned today, seeing a video of it, is that lithium batteries, when they contact salt water, water, which they have with the hurricane going through, they tend to explode and catch fire. So I don't understand why these electric cars are being pushed and supported so much other than money, because we simply just do not have the electrical infrastructure to support an entire nation, or even half a nation. Hell, we're struggling to support the electric cars we have now. The grid cannot handle it. The grid itself is old and a lot of outdated infrastructure that needs to be improved. And yet I don't see them doing that for electric cars. So I'm really curious, man. I mean, why the heck are we going to electric cars when we don't have the infrastructure to support it? It just does not make sense to me. However, they do have lithium in North Carolina, and what just got flooded and people evacuated and all that stuff, a hurricane, and I watched the hurricane track this time pretty closely, watching where the quote-unquote weather services would say, oh, at this time on this date the hurricane will be here, and at this time at this date it will be here. It's like, how the hell do you know that? I don't want to hear, I know, yeah, well, we took the wind speed, we measured the wind speed, how fast it was moving, blah 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 blah. Okay, but you still don't know what direction the hurricane is going to take exactly. And it seems to me like this one was steered, because every place that the weather services were saying the hurricanes were going to arrive and when, lo and behold, for at least the first time in my memory, the weather prognosticators were actually correct. Like dead on correct. It's like, how the hell do you do that? I don't think there's any other way other than weather modification, geoengineering, all that stuff. And it seems to me that if they really wanted the lithium, and they've been trying to get these, at least according to what I read, these lithium mines producing more, blah, 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 the people in the areas where these mines are, let's see, we'll make this guy round first, have been fighting against it for years. Now, towns are destroyed, completely wiped off the map. People are dead, displaced, homeless. There's already permissions that mining companies have been waiting on to increase production. They have not been given permission, but I bet you they are now. I bet you they will now. Again, for a technology that this country cannot support. We cannot support an entire country of electric vehicles. Not without some serious improvement and updating of the electrical grid that we have now. I'm going to grab a skew. Looks like I need to hone this dude up. Anyway, that's my rant, I guess. It just it's mind-boggling how these towns that have never seen a hurricane, at least as far as I'm aware, never seen a hurricane, that bam, they're seeing hurricane. Last couple of days, it's wiped them out. Almost half of the state of North Carolina, the western side, is closed now. People are isolated. The roads are gone. Roads to those areas are closed off. And, I get some of it is safety. I guess I should just say I don't trust the government. I don't trust anything they say, because so far, in my experience and in my life, it's all been lies. That works right there. So we're going to bum that up. Double check my height here. Come up a little bit more. I think that'll do. Anyway, I don't know. Not trying to force or get into a serious political discussion. Just find it very odd. The way that things have transpired. And I feel fortunate that we haven't been hit with that here in Traverse City. I don't know if that could happen or not. I feel just disappointment in the fact that so many people are dispossessed, displaced, I mean, what are they going to do? A lot of those people, you know, I mean, I've been to that area a couple of times. A lot of those people are not rich, so they're being forced to move. To where? They don't have the funds to do it. They just lost everything. So I hope that you keep them in your thoughts. If you can help them out in some way financially, I mean, they're all going to need it. Then please do so. Support your fellow human being in these times of trial and tribulation. The last thing we need is more homeless people in this country. We've got too many, and too many houses that are empty, bought by corporations like BlackRock, bought up so they go on the market. And they sit idle and empty. All right, that got rid of most of that chunky stuff. Let's get rid of this. So as you can see what I'm doing here, if you haven't seen me do this before, my hand, my fingers, these three fingers, are up underneath this piece, not touching this rotating piece, or touching the tool rest. That's to keep my hand in one spot. And then I just gently rest that part of my palm against the back of the rotating piece, not adding any pressure because that will create friction. Friction builds up heat, and I don't want to burn. But it's just to give a little bit of support to an out of square piece as I run this tool along it. Because I'm not forcing my hand against the material, I'm not getting hot. There's no hot spots on my hand. It's just there to give a little bit of support and help dampen any vibration. Because I'm sticking out, what is that, 5 inches? I don't know, let's call it 5 inches and then measure it. 4 7/8. Sticking out this far. I'm going to go to my spindle gouge now. I just wanted to get rid of all of this, the outside part of the tree, so I can so now I can turn this around, because where I want to make the tenon is on this side. I needed a good place to hold it here, because that's where I'm going to start. That's where I'm going to start, where I want to start with all of my finials is starting off with the tenon that's going to fit in the body, and using that tenon in the pin jaws to hold the piece while I turn the rest. So we'll get this guy going. Actually, I think I'll grab, excuse me, I think I'll grab some bowl tool steel and do some rounding of these without the skew. Many ways to do this, many tools you can use to do this. I'm just going to use my 3/8 bowl spindle gouges to make these finials. There's my second one. There's my first one. And I need to grab bowl gouge steel, and I will make this round. Looks like it's running true to me. You know, while I'm at it, I might as well set this up for my spindle gouges. That's really close, so we'll leave that. Move this in just a touch. And then I'm just going to do a series of pull cuts to round this off. This is a fairly safe cut to make. You notice I don't have, is that round? Not quite. I don't have a handle on it. but I don't need it. Because this is a pull cut, the orientation of the tool means that it's pretty damn hard to get a catch. I could do it if I tried, but I'm not going to try. It's not a lesson I want to do today. Let's see. Let's move this guy back a little bit more. All right, now I can go to town. So again, I'm going to support my hand by touching the tool rest itself from underneath and just slightly rest my hand against the rotating piece because I'm going to induce some vibration by using this parting tool. To make my tenon. Let's see, let's go for this guy. Oh, look at that. How? Couldn't get any better than that. And that covers up all the hole. Okay, very good. But this is the top, not the bottom. So I need to make that just a tad bit smaller. Whoops. A little bit more. I'm also trying to leave myself some tenon to hold on to with the pin jars. Oh man, I got close. It doesn't have to be a perfect, like, friction fit. I just want to get it into the hole, but I need to make it. I was wrong side, Dave. There we go. So it's not like loosey-goosey. When I glue it all together, I don't want it floating around. Let's get that guy out of the way. And since I'm right here, I need to create I don't know, I guess you would kind of call that a cove, half a cove. I don't know. I need to create a chamfer in there so that it sits on this curve. And I'll do that with spindle gas. In theory. You know what? It makes more sense to do it with my 1/4-inch skew because it doesn't have to match the curve exactly. The outside edge is what needs to sit on that curve. Yeah, it's pretty good, but it can be better. I don't want to show a bunch of gaps. Like that, got it? Oh, wrong side. There, that sits just right. That'll work. So no gaps in there. Just gonna glue that together, it'll look lovely. All right, time to bring out the key. Oh, that's what I was doing. Oh no, I did look. I am live. Again, thanks for joining me on Twitch Tuesday. I have a lot of fun doing this. I do really enjoy turning. Just taking a look to see who's actually in chat, if this is ever really accurate. SEEBBB is on. Hey, how's it going, man? Looks like you're the only one on chat right now. Thanks for joining me. So this maple will complement this maple very nicely, I think, which makes it more difficult to decide how to finish it. Okay, so that is the bottom, right? And I don't really need it that long, so we'll call it something like that. Let's Well, that's odd. Oh, because I don't have it seated properly. Well, that's all right. That's going to get cut off, and the rest will do just fine. I think the phlegm monster has gotten me today. There we go. So rather than turn it off, we'll cut that length off with a saw. I'm going to get out of that screen that just shows users in chat. That could go in my resin bucket, and here we go. Oh, that's kind of a drag. That's as close as this banjo will get. Now, this is not the banjo that came with this lathe. This is the banjo that came with the lathe model before this one. They work together, but on this model they updated the banjo so that your brake here is off to the side, so that your tool post can go all the way down to the ways, and I can use longer tool posts. With this one though, it's right in the center, so the tool post, if it's long enough, will hit right on the center of that brake and stick up above and not be where I need it. But for these shorter tool rests, it works fine. Shorter post tool rests, it works fine. However, I'm a little bit out further than I would be with my other lathe or other banjo. Not that that's a big deal. I feel pretty comfortable turning this way because I have done it a lot. Yep, came right out of the chuck. So I think what I'm going to have to do is bring up my tailstock, which is what I was trying to avoid. I won't have to do it with the smaller pieces, but this does stick out 5 inches, well, 4.5 now. And all that force I'm putting on the outside is not supported, so I got to bring up that tailstock. Come on. And make sure this is seated properly. Ooh, hey man, that's something I should try. I'll try it on the next one. To just avoid the chuck entirely and make that tapered slightly to fit into the chuck or into the headstock, but the outer diameter will still fit here. I think I'll try that. I don't know how much it will help me, but we'll find out. I need to move all of these guys now. Okay. Bucket. Who's got the magic bucket? What do I do with the bucket? All right, a bowl. What do I do with a bowl? I need a bowl. Oh, duh. I have some twice turned bowls that I still need to turn the second time, but these will work just fine to hold on to these for now. And move this guy aside so that I can bring up my tailstock. All right. Close enough for 1 and 2. Whoops, nope, got it. Secure the tailstock. Trying to avoid the tailstock so I didn't have to turn away that little divot in the bottom, but I'll just do that. And I need to adjust the tool rest height on this guy. How's the audio coming through? It looks like it's all right. Hey, and the music's actually still playing. There we go. I think that'll do. So I'm not, you know what else I could be doing? I could be using my 1/2-inch spindle gouge. I've forgotten I've got a Hosselick handle. You can put 5/8 and 1/2-inch on either side. I guess these ends are interchangeable somehow, maybe, or I don't know if maybe they're pressed in. But I have a stopgap. I do need to buy, or I'm planning to buy. I guess need is a term I don't need to use. Planning to buy the other Robust collet set. Robust sells two with different size collets in both packages, and the one I got was primarily for 3/8. This is 1/2-inch 3/8 spindle gouge, my 3/8 tools and my 5/8 tools. And now I have recently adopted a 1/2-inch spindle gouge. You know what? I'm not happy with that guy. I think I'm going to be happier. I mean, the tool's fine. The tool's doing what it needs to do. But I think, honestly, I'll be happier with a skew. Whoop, what just dropped? Wait a minute. So I don't want to take the finial down to a superfine point, because the idea is, at least in theory, that it will be a decoration put on a tree, or in some cases it's been in the middle of a table on a stand. People are going to want to touch it, and a fine finial on this particular turning would break easy, even though this is maple. Let's see, how do I want to do this one? This one I think I'll do. I think I'll just kind of do it fairly plain. Alright, I need to slow down. Speaking of which, what am I turning at? 600. Well, maybe I'll speed the lathe up a little too. Alright, so I'm close to the headstock. Me trying to come around all the way to get that, it's going to put me in the way of bouncing on the headstock, so I'm going to use a long point. that guy just a bit. For one, it brings my handle closer to parallel with the waves. And when I'm done, I'm right here on the outside. I'm not bumping the headstock yet. If I was on the short stroke, I would have already been bumping it. My hand would be up here. I don't want it up there. So we'll just turn a sphere there. And then I'll make a cup shape here to match the body of this. It needs to be a little bit rounder. Something like that. That's cleaned up. Move that aside. Now, how do I want to do this? Let's see. I think I want to leave that. I don't know if I want to leave that. So what I'm going to do is make a cove. A half a cove anyway. And then I'll really take that down. This maple is turning really, really nice. I like turning maple. And I think we're going to leave it at this. This will just be a simple finial. Something like that. Now I'm going to, well, it's me, I guess, so I'm going to throw a couple of small beads right here. I don't have, like, a specific design in mind for these finials. It's just shape them as I go. Let's see, do I want to match that? No, I don't. We'll just make it a straight shot. Just like that. And then I'll round off the end here. You know, let's give it just a little bit of a barrel shape, since the ornament body is a little barrel shape. Kind of tie it all together, right? Nothing too egregious, just a little. There we go. Now, what do I want to do with that? I think I'll take that down just a little bit thinner. Tuck it in a little bit. Something like that. Leave it some thickness because I don't want it to be able to break easy. And what did I do with my abrasive? Dave does not know, so we're going to get a new piece. A new piece. You know, well, no, let's see. Let's take a look at this with the barrel shape. Yeah, that works. Yeah, it doesn't look chunky or anything. Okay, cool. I'll take it. I need to clean that up. A little bit of tool mark here. That I don't want there. There we go. And I can decide how to finish these later. All right, I think I'm going to get away from the 180. This 180 grit. The maple is super, super hard. It's just wearing this abrasive out really fast. So I'm going to go back to 150 with these. Yeah, it looks pretty good. All right, now we need to get rid of that little guy. Probably would have been better just to grab the skew first off. There we go. Key, where's the key? There's the key. All right, so that one's done. That fits right in there like that. Yeah, that looks pretty good together. Groovy. Now for the cap. get a shorter piece. This will be nice because I won't need the tailstock support for this guy. Likely harasser restricted, shaped crude. Cheap viewers on star, asterisk, whatever you want to call it. Thanks for blocking that. I think. Can I still get this there? Yes, I can. I think that's too big still. No! Oh man, that's awesome. Oh, yes, that's not how I want to do that. I'm going to do it this way. Now let's make sure that's going to sit properly. Nope, but it will in a second. Quite round, is it? Now there should be no gap. There's no gap. And that sits the way I want it to. So cool, man. I don't have to get rid of that because nobody's ever going to see it, but let's do that anyway. So here I'm just using the point of the skew to just quickly take off. And I'm using the point because it was square and I knew I wouldn't bounce around. Not that I'm going to bounce around a lot using the blade. I just want to make sure all my bases are covered. I'm going to shut that off. And I made the mistake of not turning off the lathe when I walked away. You should always turn off the lathe when you walk away. Well, that's right, as close as I can get. So that's not too much of a pronounced curve there. Go a little bit more that way. I think that matches now. Just hold it this way. Yes. Keep wanting to get closer. I cannot get any closer. Hey, don't you come out of there. I think I'll make this a little bit smaller ball. Now, I haven't really made holiday ornaments since, oh gosh, I guess February or March of this year. So I just remembered a step that I take before I take this off the lathe, and I have to I gotta get my tools together. What I like to do with these, because those little eyelets, it's a smaller gauge metal screw, and especially on this harder stuff, I like to drill a pilot hole before I take this off the lathe. One, I'll know that it's centered, and two, it'll be a lot easier to get that eyelet hook in there, twisting it in without breaking it off. So let me grab my pin vise. Let's go with this guy. And then I think there it is. The right size drill bit. I've got a bunch of little micro drill bits in here. Two pin vices. I used an old Daisy BB container to hold some of the larger drill bits, but yeah, it works out great. So we'll get this guy set, and we'll just drill a hole. So I'm going to leave this guy out, but I'll put the other box away. Yeah, I'm going to have to get used to a little bit. I got to pay attention to my shop here, my studio, because I've got things arranged in a certain way, and sometimes I don't pick up my feet, so I run into stuff. Where's the key? There's the key. Come on. All right, so top. Oh yeah, that curve matches out really well. Bottom. So this is a larger ornament, but we'll just keep moving on. I'm going to do 3 more, And then I'm going to move on to some of those smaller bowls. So that looks pretty good. It's all set to put finish on. I'm digging that. We'll set it aside. And to set it aside, I need to put it in a something else. That'll do. To keep the pieces together. There we go. And then we'll grab, how about this guy? That'll work. Need these two pieces. I thought I made, oh, I did make 4. Okay, there they are. 1, 2, 3, 4. What am I not seeing? I'm not seeing the key. Oh, it's because it fell down over here. Groovy, groovy, groovy. So I'm gonna look at this chat again because I honestly cannot. I'm sorry if I butcher the name, man. I'm sure I'm going to. CBBB, Seeb, I don't know. SEEBBB. I see you out there. I'm wondering, are you a turner? I've seen your name in chat before. I don't believe we've ever chatted amongst ourselves. Am I gonna skip the skew or am I gonna, let's see, I think I'll do this one with, I will do this one with, where are you? There you are. This tool. So this tool is 10 millimeter square high-speed steel stock. And a friend of mine, actually Joe, got me he got me this piece because I wanted to. I really do want to work with a Bedan. That's one of the tools, one of the few tools I haven't worked with yet. So I fashioned this to be a Bedan. But the reason I pulled it out is because, yeah, that's not going to work. Getting too much vibration here. Yep, it's pulling it right out. I need to tighten that up. And I'm getting tools in my own way. Yep, I didn't tighten that enough. All right, let's try that again. Oh, what do you know? Better results. That looks close. Let's see which one it will fit in. Either one. Cool. I'll need my skew. Does that sit properly? Let's back this off almost. Let's round this guy off. Now that should sit just right. Nope, not quite. A little bit more undercut. There we go. That'll do. Almost. Not quite. Beautiful. All right. So since I'm right here, I want to keep going for that guy. Now I'm transitioning to the point of the tool so I can get right up into that area there. And then I'm going to taper this guy down. And I will do the rest reversed in the chuck here. Oh, I thought I was out of that. Sorry, I'm going back into my chat here. SEEBB. Ah, there we go. Answers. No, I'm not. I'm just interested in working wood, and I'm watching, learning silently while also doing something else. Well, I appreciate you joining me, man. Thank you very much. I think working with wood is one of the better mediums to work with personally. All right, come on. Okay, there's my live center. Brought myself out a little bit out of true, which means I need to tighten this guy again. That should not have happened. Although I will say it is very, very hard maple, so getting this chuck to tighten down is a little bit of a task. Let's see, I think I'll just hog this off since I have tailstock support. I don't have to worry a whole lot about vibration necessarily. Time to hone this guy. Getting a little dull. I'll have to check out SCBBB. I will have to check out later. I guess you're on Twitch. I don't want to assume you have a Twitch channel, but I'm going to go looking. There we go. Follow your channel and see what kind of things you create. Or my oldest boy is an avid gamer. Raging Striker Gaming is his channel, and that's his content. I don't know if you're a gamer or a maker or whatever, but I will find out. So I'm really hogging stuff off here with the skew because I've got my tailstock support. I can get away with it. And I think this guy will have a ball on the end. Yeah, it's a pretty good taper, but I think it can be better. There we go. So again, I'm using the point, this time the long point, to get right up to the base of that ball. I'm doing my best not to have to worry about sanding this one. There we go. And we'll do that. There we go. So the idea for me, probably already mentioned it, but the idea for me is to only sand as much as I absolutely have to. There we go. I think, yeah, that looks good. Let's get the smaller skewer out here. And I appear to have lost my abrasive. Oh yeah, I was going to switch to 150 since this wood is so hard. It's just wearing down my abrasive super fast. So I think the next finial we'll do something a little bit more elaborate. No, I just need to get rid of this dude. I'm just making some V cuts here to get down to where I can just part it off like that, push all the way through. And that's the bottom finial. What did I do with the key? There it is. Let's see how that looks, shall we? I think I got it on that side. No, that side. Okay. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Let's go for the capper. Whoops, don't drop that on the floor. There we go. Let's see, that was that side, so this is the side I need. Ooh, almost got really close. Gonna get myself lost here in a second. Okay, that's the one I want. And keep putting the piece back down in the wrong orientation, so when I pick it up, I've got the wrong hole. Now, normally on larger pieces, I just did it again, didn't I? No, that's right. Yeah, there we go. That's beautifully. Most time on my larger pieces like this, I want to match this curve to that curve to get more glue surface area. But the way that I'm going to glue these, the way they're going to fit together, I don't really have to worry about that. So it's a little bit of a shortcut compared to the larger pieces that I usually do. I use one of those contour gauge to match curves on my pieces if I don't feel like I can eyeball it. And what I'm doing tonight is, I mean, it's akin to production turning. Doing a bunch of let's leave that. We'll go that way. And playing around with different things that, you know, see if it speeds up my process or slows it down, but it is very much akin to production turning, because I'm turning multiples of one item. Okay, so I need to match that curve. A little shallower. There we go. Oh, should I leave that? I think I'll leave that. Yeah. I'll round this over. Make that a new feature. And then turn my little sphere for the hanger. I don't guess it has to be a sphere, but hey, it works just fine. Any shape you want. I've made egg shapes for the hangers. I've done all kinds of things, star shapes even, which is not super tricky to do. Just requires a saw. In fact, you know what? The next one I turn, I'll do a star. And then we center our hole. And drill it. Oh, I need to tighten that up. And that one's done. So that matches that curve pretty well. What do I do with the other bit? There it is. And that matches that curve very well. So there's ornament number 2. Next, let's grab this guy. Oh, you know what? No, let's grab this guy. So you got a little bit of wax right there. This was finished in beeswax. I'm going to run some abrasive across the top of it to see. Well, hold on. Let's see. Let's grab some paper towel here. Oh, yeah, no, that'll work. I can buff that dust out of there. Since that finish is beeswax based. Yeah, there we go. All right, less work. Yay! Okay, so this guy is going to have a star on the bottom. So I need this guy. You can go back in there. It's funny, when I was just thinking this, when I used to do a lot of flat work, I would make prototypes and stuff like that out of flat wood. Since I've started turning, oh geez, what is this? 2015, 8, almost 9 years ago. I find that I use cardboard now and paper, which is amusing. Whoa! It rocked it a little bit. Let's tighten this down some more. So close. There we go. All right, since I've got you right here, just get all those corners pretty much knocked off. I don't know why I got or how I got into this habit. I'm not sure. I mean, I don't feel like changing it, but my habit is to clean up as I go, so I can kind of see what the grain's doing and make any adjustments I feel I might want to make on the fly. I don't actually have to clean it up. I can just make the shape or whatever, but sometimes the grain gives me different ideas or tells me it wants to do something other than what I was hoping for. All right, so just a little bit of an undercut there. And that should sit perfectly. Look at that. Yes. All right. So now I need to match that curve. Came close. Not quite. A little shallower. And I'll just stay right here. Since I do have a pretty secure hold on it, I can make the shape that I want to make. I think this one will be more of an egg shape. I'd like that to be a little bit, there we go, a little bit rounder. Can't get that guy in there, so we go. All right, I'm going to turn this guy around and we will work on the rest of it. Finish that egg shape and then we'll have a star on the bottom here. Ooh, I got to think about that too. How am I going to do this? Because I want the star with one point up. Not because of my sensibilities, but other people's who might be considering buying one of these. What is that? Let's see, am I running almost true? Well, let's fix that. Aha, that's my problem. This dude does not stand tight. I'm gonna have to take this chuck apart and clean it up and lubricate it, I believe. Hey, this would be a good thing to try that lanolin based stuff on. There we go. Since it also inhibits rust and it won't be a petroleum-based product that I might get on the wood. So the interesting thing about a Badan is that you don't typically cut with the edge. You typically cut with the corners. So I'm just practicing a little bit. There we go. Now I need to make my star shape. So, okay. So we're going to cut it off right there. All right, that's not quite right. Let's do that. That'll be too big. Let's do it with this one. That's close. That's better. Make some very tiny beads. Finish off that toe. And fix this guy. Just some really light cuts with the skewer. There we go, got a nice cove there. I'm going to make this a little rounder. And we'll cut off the parts that aren't the star. I suppose I can move the bowl gouge out of the way. Let's go with the other spindle gouge since I can get in there a little bit tighter. A little bit of abrasive here. Now I'm just finishing the sanding off by sanding with the grain to take out any of the little bitty tool marks from the grit here. There we go, that pit's done. All right, let's get rid of this guy. I may have to actually adjust this size. Let's see. That should be okay. Alrighty, let's see, before I go any further, get that cleaned up. And now for the cool stuff. Wait, this is all cool. What am I saying? Okay. It just seems really weird. Okay. No fretting over that. Let's see. Saw's over here. I would take this off with the skew, but it would put too much pressure on this thinner part, and I'm afraid that would break. All right. Where is it? Oh. All right, let's raise this guy up a little bit. I want it to be right there. Oh, I went too high. Yep. There, that should work. So I'm going to use my tool rest as a guide, and I'm going to go right where the rings are coming together. And in theory, this should wind me up right on that point right there where these two surfaces come together. Yeah, damn near cut myself. All right, so that's that part. Let's, oh, I did break this skin. Darn. Time to get a Band-Aid. Now I got to do this on the other side. Oh, I didn't do the... That's all right. It'll still be a star. So the tricky part is to get things lined up. I'm going to grab a Band-Aid really quick. Come here. Got to keep Band-Aids in the shop. Just in case. Oh, well, I didn't want that kind, but that'll work. There we go. All right, so that looks pretty flat. Doing my best to hold the finial steady so that I don't snap this off with the force of the saw. There we go. It's a little fatter than I'd like, but that's okay. It is a star. And that's that bit done. Now we got to do the cap. Now let's take a look here. Yeah, that looks pretty good. It's kind of hard to see that that's a star. I may actually grind that a little bit thinner just to I'll wind up taking actually I'll take a grinder and then grind those legs so that there is a V cut in there. Now we're going for the cap for that guy. Hearing strange noises in my shop. 10:30. Wow. Wiley Smiley Kylie. Hi. We just got out of a movie. Hey, cool. How's it going? What movie did you see? I haven't been to a movie in forever. I didn't even realize, I guess, that movie theaters still exist and are open. I don't know. I haven't done that in a long time. Okay. So I can put this saw away for now. Get that guy out of there. Let's see, this needs to drop down. Oh. Whoa, easy there, cowboy. What are you doing, man? Slow down, brother. Yep, a little narrower. Cool. Now I just need to match this curve. But before I do that, that's going to be fun to hold on to. I'm going to make that, since I got material to burn, I guess you could say. Since I'm holding this in the pin jaws, so many tools, so little time. Okay, this guy. And I'm as close as I could get there, but I need to be over here. So, 1/4 inch skew, I'll just make a little undercut there. Make that round so I can get a really good idea of the fit. Oh man, that sits just perfect. Okay, so now I can flop it around and match the curve and finish it off. Oh yeah, this dude needs to be taken apart and lubricated and cleaned. Holy smokes. It's a little bit thinner tenon than I would usually use, but for one, it has to be that small, and two, it's very hard maple, so I feel some confidence that it's not going to just fly apart. So the curve looks a little something like that. This probably needs to be a little shallower. Thinkity think. What was I just thinking? Oh no. Thought I had an idea there, but I was wrong. That's too big. I wonder how that would look over here. Let's see. Why didn't that change? State Theater is the best. Oh yeah, right. That's right. They're all open. It was it a Michael Moore thing? I know he's been advertising. I can't remember what he's been advertising is going to play there, but yeah, very cool. In fact, the last time I went to a movie, that's where I went. All right, half a sphere. Let's get the other half here. Let's use this guy. Now I'm going to leave that. I think that looks nice. I'll just clean it up and round this edge over just a bit. There we go. Yeah, I'm going to leave that right where it is. I like it. All right, cool. Cut that off, set my center hole for my drill. I'm so glad that I don't need to use jigs or special tools to turn spheres. Actually, and Joe will probably remember this, likely harasser restricted, one-sided magnitude. Best viewers on blank, blank, blank. Yeah. All right. The first time I turned a sphere ever was with a skew, turning a big lump of wood between centers and with jigs into a sphere. I should do that. I might do that tomorrow night. I know it surprised the instructor that I was taking classes from. He'd never seen it before. Dick Gerard. And my mentor at the time, Lyle Jameson. They were watching me very, very closely, expecting me to get catches and all that. And then when I was done with it, they're like, I've never seen that. I'm going to tell, at least anyway, Dick, I'm going to tell all the other students from now on, I've seen a guy do this. And see if anybody else will duplicate it. I haven't heard anything, but I think that'd be pretty cool. All right, so, nope, I need to adjust that curve. It's a little bit off. Fortunately, I can do this. Oh, no, I can't. Let's find out where it was in the chuck. So it runs true again. That's not it. So I'll rotate it another 90 degrees. Right there. That's it. Not this guy, this guy. So I need it to be a little bit shallower. Which is groovy because it actually lets me add a little bit more detail to this. I'll take it, man. That's I love it when that stuff works out. That's pretty cool. Yeah. Liking it. I'm gonna do it on time. I got 20 minutes. I think I can pull out one more. Maybe. All right. Check against the curve. There we go. That matched it. So I'm gonna wind up grinding this star a little bit thinner and cutting a V in there to separate these two bottom legs. But that is that ornament done. All right, moving on. Next one. How about you? At least I'll be able to get the bottom finial finished. I think I can get them both done, but we'll see. I mean, of course, it would be a lot easier if all the holes were exactly the same, and I could make it that way, I suppose, if I wanted to. Maybe take a drill bit and get every single one of these holes the same diameter, and then I can just make a bunch of finials, not have to worry which one fits with what, but I don't want to. I would rather practice my tool skills. Let's see if this is going to bounce me around. It seems to be a solid no. Not going to bounce me around. There we go. That's just right. And the tool rest is too low to really use this as a bidan effectively. But with the bidan, you cut only with the corners. Let's see. Let's get rid of that nonsense. I need to undercut this dude. That should sit just, that was the wrong side, wasn't it? That's the side. Yes, there we go. I think I will improve it just a little bit. It looks like I've got a bit of proud wood right at the very edge. Wrong side, Dave. Okay, tool rest is not in the way. Oh, loving it. That is a perfect fit. Okay. Let's get rid of that guy. Let's see, that is a fairly, excuse me, shallow curve. Let's move this guy out of the way. Hey, here's a thought. Let's go for the 1/2 inch guy. Oh, like butter. Oh my God, like butter. Oh, I love that. I moved the tool rest closer, didn't I? That's the one right there. And a little bit better than that. That's really close though. Oh, I was using the 1/2 inch. I forgot Kylie and Kyle and Joe. Joe remembers, cool. I forgot I had this Hauslook handle, so I can put off buying that other set of robust collets just to fit the 1/2 inch tool. So I've got a handle for it. That works. Man, like butter. Golly. So I'm going to mention this because this is something that I do actually look for when I'm looking for tools. You know, I want good steel. I don't want to pay, you know, hundreds of dollars for a frickin' tool, right? That's just outrageous. I pay $90 a piece for the ball gouges that I have. Let me clean this off. It looks like this is a little bit. There we go. And let's turn this off for a sec. Does that help? Yes, yes it does. But I do know that the way my sharpening technique has greatly improved, so I don't wear down anywhere near as much material off my gouges and stuff as I used to. So they last a lot longer. Again, tool control, but it covers a lot of ground. When I say tool control, it's sharpening, it's how you approach the wood, it's the way you hold it. There's a bunch to it. So this particular steel came from Hurricane turning tools. This is a pretty decent stool. Wow, where'd that come from? This is a pretty decent tool and inexpensive, relatively. The tool itself cost me, I think, $45. And I have found, where is it? No, that is a Thompson too. My first SKU, which is this guy, actually. This is also a Hurricane turning steel. Holds an edge very, very well. Now, it's not, cryogenic or all the other stuff, but I don't want to pay that extra $100 or whatever it is to get cryogenic treated tools. Eventually they're going to wear away. Tools are meant to be replaced, right? You're going to use them, and eventually they're going to wear away. At some point, this tool is going to be ground down to nothing, and then I'll figure out something to do with the leftover toolbar stock here, just to try to extend the life of it. Who knows? It might turn into another box scraper or something like that. But I try to steer people in the direction of, when you're trying a new tool or you want to explore a new tool, you still want to get good steel, but don't buy the top of the line stinking thing unless you want to, because if you're just checking things out, if you're just saying, do I like the tool, does it work for me, whatever, I'm not saying buy a cheap, don't buy Benjamin's Best. That's that's actually, in my opinion, garbage steel. I bought one, terrible steel. Don't buy the cheapest whatever brand, but I will say that Hurricane, so far in my experience, and I've had a bowl gouge, actually I still have it. I use it just for shear scraping now because the flute is almost gone in it. I had just enough room to make one more pass and freshen that edge, and I use it occasionally as a shear scraper. But the tool steel is actually decent, and if you don't need to pay a whole bunch of money don't buy a whole set of tools, especially if you're starting turning. Don't buy a whole set because you don't know if you're going to use them all. Buy one tool, get good with it. Then buy another tool, get good with it. Explore, practice, all that stuff. Then buy another tool, and then another, whatever you want to add. Don't buy the whole damn thing. It takes time to get the tool control, well, especially like as you see that I'm doing here. It takes time to get to this level, and I don't see the point personally. I'm a disabled vet. I don't have millions of dollars, and even if I did, I wouldn't spend it foolishly on overpriced tools. But if the tool steel is good, use it. Hurricane makes decent tool steel. Thompson makes outstanding tool steel. Now they have different kinds of, cryogenic and M2 and whatever. I just buy the regular, their what is it? Their standard tool steel on the stuff that I buy from Thompson. But the tool steel is fantastic. Hurricane is, I'm not going to say it's up there with Thompson. Sorry, for some reason that wanted to slip out my ear and away from my thoughts. But as far as it being I don't want to use the word bargain. I'm not going to use the word cut rate. I'm not going to use the word cheap. I'm going to use the word the phrase relatively inexpensive. I've rehandled my my half-inch gouge because the handle with it was too short. It was just too damn short for this mass of a tool to use as a spindle gouge, which is what it is. So I got rid of the handle, and I bought this particular 1/2 inch gouge because I've had really good luck with hurricane steel, and I wanted to see, am I going to use a 1/2 inch spindle gouge very often or not? Because I don't know. I use my 3/8 and my 5/8 a lot, but this is my first 1/2 inch. So I figured, well, I'll try out hurricane. The steel is still really, really good. So if you're looking to buy tools, ask, talk to people perhaps in your turning club. Shoot me a message in chat or whatever, and I'll give you my recommendations. You can take it for what it's worth. But I got to tell you, man, wherever you can save money, if you're looking at a top of the line lathe, you're looking at $12,000 for a top of the line lathe. Why spend $250 on a tool steel or whatever? The Thompson tool steels that I buy, the bowl gouge is the most expensive. It's $90. The spindle gouge was $70, so it's less than $100. But the Hurricane itself was $45, and I can use that tool if it's not good steel, or I'm never going to use the tool or whatever. I'm out $45, and then I can use this and turn it into something else. But I'm never going to use this particular tool steel. Turns out I'm going to use it, and so when I'm going to practice a few more things and see if it's going to do everything I want it to do, and then if it does, then I'm going to buy a really good tool. I'll buy a Thompson 1/2 inch. I'll still keep this in my turning tools. I'll use it all the time, but I'll get the Thompson because I know that it'll last probably, I'm going to say, about twice as long as this tool steel. And that's my experience sharpening and all that stuff. Your results will vary. All right, let's get back down to this guy because we are running out of time here. That was I'm looking at the wrong camera. It's like, what the heck? Oh, that's almost my elbow. Okay, so we don't need this camera anymore. We'll just go right to this. Oh, and I need this back. Wipes it out a little bit. Let's try this one. That's a little bit better. Okay. So I've got my tenon. I got my curve matched. I'm pretty sure it was this guy. Yeah, so I got my curve matched. Now I'm going to finish this guy. So let's flip this around in the chuck. Key. And I'll bring up my tailstock again. Oh man, yep, that's going to be one of the first things I do tomorrow is take this chuck apart, clean it, and lube it. It's getting really difficult to work with. Now this is not a top of the line chuck either. This Vic Mark, I would consider this, if not the top of the line, like right up there. This is PSI woodworking. It's lasted me several years. It's starting to finally give up the ghost, but we're talking, oh God, when I bought the second time I bought this chuck set, it was $110. The Vic Mark was over $400. But the Vic Mark chuck, I've been salivating over that for a long time, ever since I went to Aeromont to take my first class outside of my mentor and people in this area. Oops. Put the brakes on, Dave. Took me quite a while to save up for it, but it has been worth every penny. Why are you backing off? Stop doing that. All right, Badan practice. Even though this technically isn't like, it's a homemade Badan. don't have my angle right. Let's try it from here. And my tool rest is too low. I'm not doing too bad. But in this case, it's going slower than I want to. So, oh, well, yeah, I can do that too. I just got a thought. I'm going to hog this dude off. Since I got tailstock support, and I can hog off a little bit better, a little bit more with this bowl gouge doing pull cuts than I can with the screw. I'm pretty much using the point of the screw for this. You can tell because it's curling up and fuzzing kind of like a flower. I'm using that point to get up underneath and push the wood. So I've kind of switched to just using a long point right now because this half of my spindle or skew is not dull yet. I need to hone this half, so I'll just use this half for now. Well, that's going to take a smaller skew. So let's do that. All right, I'm going to turn this light back on because I really need it. I don't know how well you can see that, so I'm going to put that other camera back on too. Alright, so I'm going to put an egg shape down here. What am I going to do here? I think I'm going to do a series of beads just for fun. Let's, nope, I want to use this. Let's give it something like that. Let's get the other spindle down so I can get right in there. And then let's see, I'm going to round that off a tad. And now I'll throw some beads on here. Let's see, we'll start right, where are we going to start? We'll start right here. One, two, three, four, five, six. Let's do 12 for the 12 days of Christmas. What the hell? 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 11 lords of leaping. Is it 12 maids of milking? Can't remember. All right, so now, let's see. I want to round this off a little bit better. There we go. And then we want an egg shape, as I said. There we go. These are pretty clean, but I'm going to run just a little bit of abrasive up one side and down the other. Now, if you've never run beads, a continuous bead in one direction, you can do it. I know you can do it, because I can do it. And really what it took was the practice and being willing to not have a stellar piece when I was done. Not that I only practiced on, I practiced on other things other than just specifically turned objects that I wanted to complete. That works. And like everything else, it takes practice. You just got to be able to want to do it. There's a little bit of trick and technique to it, but I can certainly teach you. Hopefully, the SWAT will give me some good news and tell me they'd like me to be one of the demonstrators next year at SWAT, and wherever they're going to hold it. Because that is the demonstration syllabus that I sent to them, is that and hollowing with spindle gouge. So hopefully I'll be out and about, like teaching this to wider audiences. I don't mind one-on-one or a couple at a time. That works too, but larger audiences, yeah, that looks very, very nice. I'm liking that. Let's see, it was that side. All right, so that curve, I did actually match that. That's cool. We're going to do, how much time do I got? Ha ha! 23:06. All right, it'd probably take me like 10 minutes to finish the cap. So let's do that, and then I'll call it a night. While I'm doing this, again, if you have any questions, comments, what have you, please put them in chat. I am paying attention and do pay attention to chat, because this channel is about education as well. All right, you need to move. Okay, went a little bit. Too small. There we go. A little bit of an undercut. Does it sit well? Nope, need a little bit more undercut. There we go. Beautiful. Now I can flip this guy around and finish off the rest of it. Hopefully I don't have to replace these chucks, but they are starting to get really hard to work with. So we'll clean them up and see what that does first. Well, clearly I'm having trouble locking down on the piece here. Come on. Okay, let's see, that's the outside, so I'm going to match this way. Nailed it first time, cool. All right. Let's see, let's do, let's just do another ball here. Ta-da! Get out of there. Trying to get rid of that abrasive because it's toast now. Oh yeah, yep, that works. All right, so that's number 4. Cool. That makes me happy. Okay, we'll go back to this guy. You need to stop leaking air. Things are coming apart for me here. There we go. Oh, that was loose. There we go. Okay. Cool. Tools are done. I don't need this. We do that. Bump up the camera just a tad. Turn that dude off. Actually, that's not a bad picture, but that'll work. All right. So, we've done, 4 finials, 4 caps, and finished off 4 ornament bodies. They are all ready to glue and then do however I want to finish in color or dye or paint or nothing at all. Maybe just clear epoxy or poly. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But I want to thank you for joining me on this Twitch Tuesday. I will be back again tomorrow night, 8 to 11. I have lots of stuff to play with, including more of these guys. Let me set this guy over here so I don't lose this one too. I got 1, 2, 3, 2, 4, 6, 8 more to go. 8 more of those to go. Half a dozen 3.5-inch bowls. Just playing around for holiday markets, man. So hopefully you're picking up tips and tricks as I go along. I do my best to explain what I'm doing as I'm doing it. My name again is Dave. I'm a wood turner. I started turning this therapy for PTSD. I'm a disabled vet. I found out not only is it amazing therapy, but I also had a knack for it and fell in love with it. So here we are. Now I find that I have a desire to teach as well. So that's why I started this channel, to become a better demonstrator and a better teacher, to help turners of all skill levels become better turners, get better tool skills under their belt. Some of these things are the things that I am working on myself all the time. If I see, I'm always working, trying to get as much utility out of a tool as I can, and in that way, have been finding tool skills that, well, okay, I'm going to say they're advanced, but they're not often or rarely, if at all, taught. And so having to figure this stuff out myself, if I had somebody to show me some of this stuff, rather than just trying to pick it up or run with something or see an idea and go, I got to figure out how to do that. I think my journey might have been a little bit shorter, perhaps. On the other hand, you know, I got to say the journey has made me the turner I am so far. But my goal is to help smooth out the bumps, to make the journey a little bit more comfortable, something more enjoyable, and give you the confidence, give people the confidence that they can pick up a tool once they have their tool skill set in pretty good order, that they can pick up a tool and just make something. Because working at a lathe is a great I'm going to use the word area because for some reason the other English words have slipped my mind right out of my ear and onto the shavings. It's a great area to meet instant gratification. We're human beings, right? We want what we want when we want it. With the tool skills that I teach and the whole 9 yards, because there is a bunch of pieces of the puzzle, and with your continued practice, you'll get there. And I want to help shorten that journey. So I want to thank you for joining me this evening. I will be back again, as I said, tomorrow night, 8 to 11. I stream every Tuesday and Wednesday night unless there's something going on. If you follow the channel, you will get updates for when the next broadcasts are. And you will help support the channel by following. It lets the algorithms do their thing and it gets this channel out to more people, which is, I would find really helpful. Thank you. So thanks again for joining me. I hope you stay friendly. I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening. I hope you practice. And hey, man, if you have any questions, throw them up in chat, man. Let me see if I can answer them. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you folks hopefully tomorrow night. If not, next week, Tuesday and or Wednesday. Take care.